My guest this week is Fernando Rojo, Communications Manager at the Good Game Group. He might only be a spring chicken at 23, yet he's already working for a top Spanish esport organization, Giants Gaming. There are no secrets for him in the social media world, and he willingly shares his knowledge as a professor at a university in Malaga. Tune in to hear about the importance of social media in the lifespan of an organization and why it is crucial in building a solid community and how to approach it. Learn why Twitter has become the main channel for the esport world. Fernando's story is quite an inspiration for anyone with a dream of a future in esport. I'm Katarzyna Dąbrowska, and it's simple, you know? Today, I would like to welcome Fernando Rojo, Communications Manager at Good Game Group. Hi, Fernando. How are you today?
Hi, Kate. I'm feeling quite excited to be here with you, and let's see if we can, get the wonders of esports through to our wonderful listeners, or I don't know, podcast users. I don't know what the correct term is for the.
I think say listeners. I think listeners is good.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I think listeners is a good one. So my first question usually to all my guests is, what do you actually do? What is your job?
Okay. I'm the. I always say head of comms, or communications manager at Good Game Group. It's a diverse esports group that has four different businesses, and mainly I'm specialized into in esports communications, basically. Especially when it's related to teams. We have two different brands, the one called Vodafone Giants and one called Existence, and my main focus is the tone in which we communicate, developing new ideas and formats for our social media, also for YouTube videos. I organize broadcasts on our Twitch about certain competitions we do, maybe amateur competitions we organize on our Discord. Also, having the Discords active and working, so it's kind of like taking care of the community, the people that are around us that want to know like a lot of information on us, and keep them entertained mainly. And also
Mm-hmm.
I work on the much more like strict and like formal side of contacting the media, sending them the info about like new achievements we've done, new teams we've signed, etc.
Okay. And so basically, what you do is you manage social media channels for esport teams or also some other things.
So I kind of like manage I organize the strategy, and then my
Mm-hmm.
community managers like directly manage the channels,
Mm-hmm.
and I also do is basically I also organize, like live streamings. Like when it comes to broadcast, you have to like contact certain people, casters, a
Mm-hmm.
broadcaster that has to like run the streaming and all of that. So I do that too. When it comes to, for example, organizing digital live events, that's something I also do. For example, one kind of like 1 month ago, we organized a digital event that happened on a Friday and Saturday with more
Mm-hmm.
than 16 live hours of content on Twitch. So that's something I do. Like I contact the guests I want to have over. I speak with the brands that are sponsors, or like some external brands, to see if they want to like join in on the fun, want to do something with us. That's something I
Mm-hmm.
do too. And yeah, for example, something I also do is I coordinate with the brands we have the moment at Giants and Existence, etc. Especially Giants to basically like comply to what the contract they have with us. Like I follow their needs, and like I develop kind of content, and we develop ideas together to fulfill the contract, our sponsor obligations. That's something I also work on.
Definitely. I get it. Before you mentioned the word caster, a lot of people might not know what that is. Can you explain what that is in terms of esports?
Yeah, sorry, I kind of have like these insider expressions that I need to correct myself when I speak with like
No, I mean,
outsiders,
I
so
think they're great. I think they're really great, but I wanted to highlight it because this is one of those words that people might be like, "Hey, what is that?" So, if you could tell us exactly what that is, that would be
yeah, so
awesome.
an sportscaster is like a normal like commentator, but we don't use the
Mm-hmm.
word commentator normally or broadcaster. We directly go through to using the word caster. So like a caster is someone that will be like the narrator or the analyst of the games of a tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, those are the people that like they are the voices of the competitions basically.
Yeah. So in a way, like how there are, commentators who do the same for soccer and for basketball or any other sport, the same thing is happening in esports. They are narrating what is happening on the screen for the
Mm,
people.
exactly. For the moment, like this is quite a big phenomenon, and especially lately, there's been like a boom of radios appearing, in the scene. Because normally,
Mm-hmm.
like the only career path you had when you wanted to be like a caster was to join like the best league of your country or the best league that in the language you spoke, and try to like make a living out of being in that business, etc. Lately, in live streaming platforms such as Twitch, especially, there has developed like this kind of radios, no, where like people will be like with their face in full screen, with a timer of the that will show like the moment of the game they are watching at the same time, and they will be like
Mm-hmm.
broadcasting for you what's happening, so you can basically like see the game in another place and have this audio, so it's like they
Okay.
habilitate a choice for you, and this is something that has been like on the rise lately, and especially like with the World 2020 of League of Legends. It's something that has made quite a big boom.
That's really interesting because it means that almost anybody who, can talk really well and who is interested in it can really comment on the game and potentially create a career in it.
Yeah, it's like a way you can like develop yourself, also like get practice for yourself if you're a beginner. So it's kind of like difficult to have people watch you if you're already not like an influencer, but like it's like always on Twitch. If you're starting, you're going to have very little viewers, like close to none, but with hard work you can get far. So it's always the same for everyone, for casters and influencers and like normal game streamers too. So
Okay. Are most casters also influencers?
yeah, normally yes, because the thing is that when you're casting a game for certain business, for example, in Spain, that is where I work in, we have the LVP, that is like the professional video game league, and they develop certain competitions, and those competitions, for example, the League of Legends one called Superliga Orange, might have like I don't know, between 14 and 20,000 viewers in a normal game, from the regular season. Like if you're casting games, casting is commentating. If you're like commentating games in front of this many people, like it's normal that when like 2 3 seasons go by, people start to like you. They will follow you on Twitter to see what your opinions are. And actually, like it's not that being an influencer need to be a caster, but like it's that it's a normal phenomenon for the casters to
Hmm.
become influencers with the time.
Okay. Okay. So it's like a normal progression that the more
Yeah.
popular you get as a caster, you're probably going to become a little bit more of an influencer.
Yeah, to develop on this, there's like a really, really big Spanish influencer called Ibai. He's like on the top of every Twitch ranking at the moment. He's like really, really famous. Like he starts his streaming and he has like 80K viewers instantaneously. And the thing is that this guy started as a League of Legends caster for the LVP, for the National League of
Hmm.
Legends League in Spain. And he was like so funny, and he developed his character so well that he like managed to reach also the mainstream, right? So not only the esports ecosystem, and he's like a really really big Twitch superstar at the moment. So like casting is also like a good place for you to like kind of sell yourself, to make a career for yourself as a as a caster also, but as an influencer or as someone that people will respect and want to follow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really interesting. I actually never ever thought about this before. Even though I do have some experience in this industry, I literally never thought about the fact that there's broadcasters who are also working in this field. It's interesting. Um, Earlier, you mentioned social media, and it's interesting to me what kind of channels are you using to communicate with the fans?
Okay, so when it comes to esports, this is kind of like a difficult question. Like maybe not difficult, but like the answer has like some tricks. So when it comes to esports and the different channels we use, we have to take into consideration that every single channel has different audiences. So when we have to approach them, we have to use like different strategies to approach them correctly and get better metrics. When it comes to engagement, impressions, etc. So like if I have to highlight a certain social media, that be Twitter. Twitter is like the main place to be if you want to be informed, about the everything that's happening. Like the results of the games. You want to be in the conversation about like what the players are saying after winning, maybe before playing. Like if you want to be informed of leaks, like the latest information on your favorite esports team or favorite athlete, then you have to be on Twitter. Like it's the place to be. Like it's really, really, really important, right?
Okay, that's quite interesting to me because Twitter, like I've never really been a big Twitter user. For me, Twitter is like for journalists and celebrities. So it's interesting that uh, the esport industry has started using Twitter. Why do you think that is?
Okay. Let me explain. I think that maybe because we used to be like a really, really small community in the beginning. I've been working in esports for like more than 7 years already, and we used to be like a really, really little community. But even way before I was here, so I think that Twitter is a place that will let you connect with people really easily. So I believe that it's a place where you can also express yourself like quite freely. So it was kind of like the place it had to happen,
Hmm.
and then like with it, I think that what has happened is just like a normal development, like people are like started using Twitter at the beginning. They kept it using, and that's the way we communicate. I also think that Twitter is it's like the best place for like young people to be in and engage with each other and generate conversations. So it's definitely like a good niche for like the gaming community to develop. Also, it's like a place where people will like um how do you say it, like hate and like speak bad about things too, and that's kind of like a I think a normal behavior for the young ones, we have in the community too. So it kind of like fits the vibe correctly, right?
Okay, so they have a little bit more freedom maybe on Twitter.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's
Hmm.
really easy to like conversate with each other. Like if your favorite athlete like posts something, like posting a comment on Twitter is invites more to conversation than maybe like posting a comment on Instagram. It's much more visible. Like it's a
Hmm.
place where you can just like share things on your timeline with just a single button. So it's kind of more free. And also that I believe that Twitter is also like a really good hub for traditional sports too. Like there's a lot of traditional sports fan over there. So like there was already like this already like pre-existing history, of competition, like being a good place, because competition, like it's normal to develop a lot of conversation between fans of both teams, and also like it's normal that the athletes and stars have quite a good following that want to engage and interact with them. And like Twitter is this place that I feel that will make you be closer to the people you want to be, right? So it
Okay.
makes conversation much easier, as I said. So like it's kind of like the place for this to happen, basically.
Okay, so Twitter's like number one. Do you manage any other social media platforms that
Yeah, we,
help
we
you?
manage like almost all of the social media platforms that like are working well in Europe at the moment, right? In Europe and Latin America, especially that is the places where I put my focus on, because we're like a Spanish speaking brand, right?
Hmm.
So we also have like an English speaking account, and that we also like want to like position ourselves in Japan and Asia Pacific, but I'll keep the focus on on Europe mainly. So what we do is we also manage Instagram. It's really important also for like when we have to work for sponsors to give them visibility, etc. It's a really good platform for that. So we have to be present over there. We are also present on Facebook, but it's like it's not that we want to invest a lot of time into Facebook, because for at least in Spain it doesn't work that well.
Okay.
So we're not like really invested. It's something that we've been using for like the past 10 years almost in the business. So like it's something we're using because it doesn't, like we don't want to close it in case like it pops off in a certain time, or we move to Latin America with a really strong movement where it's much more popular than here.
Yeah.
Or maybe, if we were living in Portugal, for example, Facebook is really really popular in Portugal, like more than Twitter. So like maybe we would do like a really good effort to be strong over there. We're
Okay.
also present on TikTok, because I believe it's a really really good platform to, like, expose yourself. Like, I don't know if this is the correct word, but like to put yourself out there,
Hmm.
to be known, because the algorithm, um it helps. Like, if you create good content, the algorithm will help you position yourself, right? It will show you to a lot of people, and also the audience in the platform is really really young, so to
Yeah.
impact these people between 13 and 18 years old, it's really good. And it will help us, like, try to make people know us that are younger, so it will help us to secure funds for the future.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really, really important.
What about Discord? Are you using that at all?
Yeah, we're using Discord also. We have a existing community of 11,800 users on Vodafone Giants, and we have another one working that has more than 36,000 already. So, yeah, it's something we use. I think that Discord is really, really important in esports, because, community is everything, right? Everything revolves around the fact that people want to watch the games, want to interact with the athletes, they want to be better, be like them, maybe like have the chance to play with them sometime. So Discord acts like a hub, and especially as we don't have stadiums at the moment,
Yeah.
So esports is like a good place for esports fans to join together, watch some games, commentate about them, like generate. It's a good place to generate as like smaller communities of people that are really interested in your brand, for example, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's like a really really good place to have fans, like interact with each other, and maybe like make them develop into really hardcore fans that will like follow you everywhere. And I don't know. I think Discord is like a marvelous place. Like, for me, it's like a must have,
Yeah.
but it also takes a lot of time off, because you have to do like a lot of activities. You have to moderate the community all of the time. Like, everything has to be, like, people have to respect the rules. It's kind of like a little city, into compacted into a server.
Little virtual city. It's
Yeah.
funny because I asked about Discord and I realized that in none of my podcasts so far have I mentioned it, and I realized that people might not actually know what Discord is, because I actually didn't know what Discord was until maybe 9 months ago. So maybe you could
Hmm.
tell us what exactly is Discord. What is it for?
Okay, so Discord is like, it's like if Skype and normal forum, like the one we used to use like some years ago to speak
Hmm.
about topics, would have a child, right? So it's like, it's like a program you can download or use in
Like an
your
application.
browser. Yeah, right. And then it's a place where you can call your friends and speak with them either through audio or video, and it also allows you to write messages, right? So that's what like Skype would allow you to do normally, right?
Yeah.
But you can also create Discord servers where you can have all of your friends join, and then you can create like several different voice channels for you to use. For example, if you are like a group of friends that love to play, you're 20 friends, and 10 friends like to play League of Legends, and 10 friends like to play Valorant, right? And you guys make some teams. You can
Hmm.
have like 4 different channels of voice to use when you practice, etc. And then you can have like several different chat channels to, like, spread yourselves and talk with your team, etc. To have every topic divided, right?
Hmm.
So this is like having it on the like really small scale, right? So you have to now imagine this being in a really really big scale, like having thousands of users in your Discord server that join
Yeah.
every day, and they want to speak about their favorite games. For example, someone is interested in Vodafone Giants, and they like to know about the League of Legends team and the Valorant team, right?
Hmm.
So we have it organized the way that if they want to know about these teams, they can go to the certain channels that are dedicated over there, right? So, but maybe we have info about 10 other games in there, right? So we have to develop a special, um, how do you say it? Like, we have like special measures so
Hmm.
that people will understand the flow of information correctly. We have moderators that are like the police. They will go like around watching if someone is using bad words,
Yeah.
if someone is being toxic for the community.
Or doing something against the rules.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, right. Because when people have to coexist together in a place, it's really easy for them to for the situation to get out of hand, and we don't want the server to be toxic. In our case, we want the server to be like really friendly, like that it doesn't like it's like we don't allow like plus 18 content, etc. So it's like a
Hmm.
really like safe place, where we want people to be happy, to like enter, to find new friends to play, maybe to find new fans that they can share our games with. So it's like for me, it's like this mini city, or
Yeah.
mini community that builds around that, and I think that's marvelous.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. How many people, for example, from your company, how many people are there looking after Discord, for example? Is it a team of people? Is it one person?
Okay, so in our case, we have like one person that is assigned to be like the project leader of that.
Hmm.
So he's like the maximum responsible. And then we have like three other people that will help him. They will give him some ideas, like they will try to monitor things a little bit.
Hmm.
Okay, but then like outside of the business, we have certain roles within the community that will act as moderators. Like
Sure.
admins of certain sections that will like um, give information to users. So it's like kind of like in this way, it's similar to like a forum would work. Like a traditional web forum.
Yeah, so you have some people who are in house working on Discord, but then you also have members within the community who act as moderators who are not
Yeah, that's it.
employed by the
That's
company.
it.
Yeah, got it.
Right.
Got it. I would like to come back a little bit to your experience and your I don't know career path, I guess. Did you?
Hmm.
So first, I want to ask: were you or are you a gamer when you were younger? So maybe were you a
Yeah.
gamer? Yeah.
Since like since like I remember, I've been playing video games. Like before I was 3, I had my first video console and video game, and like I couldn't read properly, right? So I remember my mom would play it with me, and I could not play without my mom because I couldn't read what the game
Oh,
was saying.
that's so cute.
Yeah. So like I have like these flashbacks of me with my mom being in the sofa trying to play Pokemon,
Oh,
Pokemon
so you were
Crystal. I
playing. I
remember.
was going to ask you what was the first game and what was the first console. So it was
Yeah,
Nintendo
yeah.
and Pokemon.
Pokemon Crystal and the Game Boy Color. I remember like perfectly, and I also have them stored here in my room actually because like
Really?
I love
Oh,
them so
wow.
much. Yeah, yeah, I have so much precious memories about it. Yeah, so like I've played a lot in my history, but I used to play like solo player games, right?
Hmm.
And like I used to play
That's like
Pokemon a lot,
me.
but also
I'm definitely more of a solo player. I'm not much of a community player. I like Fallout
hmm
and GTA and
yeah, I'm playing
Skyrim.
Skyrim. Like I'm
Oh, how
replaying
good is
Skyrim at the
Skyrim?
moment.
Oh, how good
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Skyrim?
yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so good. Yeah,
I'm
right.
jealous that you're playing it. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so I'm replaying it right now because there are like new expansions. So I bought them and I'm just like going through
Wait,
it
are they
right now.
like new? How are they like?
Like not new, but I played it when I started the game when it first came out and I
Hmm.
didn't finish it. But
Okay.
now there's like some like for the last years I don't know how much, but there came out like two new expansions. So like when I had the Switch, yeah, I had the Switch gifted to me last year, so I bought the Skyrim like 2 or 3 months ago, and I'm playing the game again on my Switch. That it's really easy to play, when I have to travel or I'm out or maybe I'm in the bed, and it's really like comfortable,
Yeah.
to play like a game I couldn't like for me. It's unimaginable to play these kind of games, like that are so intense, like out
Yeah.
of a PC or a console, So being able to play it freely around the house and things like that, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a little bit scared of that. I don't think I can do that because I'm a little bit of a game addict. And yeah, I have to, I can't play that often. I usually play in winter for like 2 months.
hmm
I choose a game. So, like at the beginning of this year, I was playing The Witcher. And 2 years ago,
hmm
I was playing Fallout. During summer and spring, I go outside.
Yeah, that's completely fine. Yeah, for me, it's like yeah, it's like playing. Like you have to control yourself, obviously. Like if someone is listening and they kind of get scared that their children play or whatever, I think that it's something really natural, like to let children develop, their curiosity and their minds, playing video games and with decision making, and also like their I don't know, their reflexes. That's how you say it
Mhm.
in English, right? So develop the reflexes, with like sudden decisions and things that appear in the screen. I think that that's really healthy
Mhm.
for their mind. Like for me, at least, I think that everything's gone fine in my career, like throughout my life, and I've played a ton. So like, don't let parents be scared about video games. I think that they're good also for younger ones.
I think it's a healthy balance, like a little bit of screen time is fine, and games can be very enriching. I feel like games have definitely added to my life experience. You just have to be responsible about it, like everything else.
Okay, so going back to the question, because we
Yeah, because
decided to
yeah,
like,
'cause I really want
yeah,
to know
yeah.
how you got started working in this industry.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to
Yeah.
go ahead now. So basically, when I was 14, I had like this really good friend in high school, right? And we would like speak about Pokemon all the time, right? But he decided to like buy a Call of Duty game. So like I did the same, and we started playing Call of Duty together in multiplayer. That was the beginning of the end, basically, right? Because we had so much fun, like playing together. Like dumpstering on noobs, trying to be like the best players out there, right? We even joined a clan. We did clan wars, like we played against each other. We trained in the in the breaks of school. We had like maps printed out, and we tried to do like certain strategies. With we theory crafted like the best builds to play in certain maps. Like we were really, really like obsessed with the game. We really wanted like liked to play multiplayer, right? And that was the beginning where we started to see esports. We started to see esports competitions because those were like the best gamers out there, right? So
Yeah.
that's the way I got into the esports ecosystem. And then basically 2 to 3 years later, my friends stopped playing Call of Duty,
Oh,
so I kind
what a
of quit it
traitor.
too. Yeah, yeah. Like for me, like in deep inside me, like I only wanted to play because he was playing, right? I wanted to spend time with him. Like for me, that was it. So he switched games to League of Legends,
Oh,
and then
maybe
like
not
for me,
so
it was
bad.
kind of yeah, yeah, yeah. Like for me, at the beginning, it was like chaos because I wasn't good at the game at all.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it was really difficult for me to play. But then with the time, I started liking it, and after going to several events, because I live in Valencia, so here we have a DreamHack stop every year. So after going to several DreamHack stops and like seeing what it looked like what the esports competition, like live esports competition were,
Mhm.
I kind of got like addicted, to it. So I started collaborating with amateur teams, etc., etc., etc. Until when I was 18, um, I got like a good offer, like 2 years later after collaborating with a lot of amateur teams and things like that. And doing, I also did like I did casting, like I commentated games. I
Mhm.
also wrote for esports newspapers, etc. So like I did like a lot of several different things until I found what I like to do. That was social media at the time. So I
Mhm.
had like a good offer from a pro team to start working with them, and yeah, like I was like about to quit when I was 18 because I was going to start doing uni. I studied biochemistry and biomedical sciences, nothing to do with esports or
Completely
communications.
unrelated.
Yeah, completely unrelated, but I couldn't decide myself what my career path was going to be, so I decided to do both at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did both at the same time for like 1.5 years, and then like the business I was in closed, but I got an offer of my actual of the actual place I work in right now, so it was like a good transition, for me. Like it was like I had this like big opportunity to be in the biggest esports team in Spain, so I decided to continue doing both things. And 2 years ago, I had like a really serious offer of this same team that I was working in because I was working remotely, and
Mhm.
they asked me to go to work with them in Malaga.
Okay.
That is where their headquarters are. So I moved there and continued studying, but I only had my last year to finish, and unfortunately I wasn't able to finish everything at the same time, because working 8 hours a day
Yeah.
and like trying to do a uni, also like the degrees and like releases, so it was kind of difficult for me to get everything done. But yeah, 2 years later, that's now. I just finished my university degree like a week ago, so
Congratulations.
I managed to like finish everything okay in time. Yeah, that brings us to this podcast right now.
So now you have your what was the degree, like biochemical? What
Yeah,
was it?
biochemistry and biomedical sciences.
Are you planning on using that degree for anything?
No, not at all. No.
Maybe if the world ends and you need to develop something. I don't know what.
I don't know. I just like wanted to finish it because I am now proud of myself of being able to finish this with all of the hardships I've had to go through. So.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of the end of the world, earlier you mentioned that we no longer have stadiums. How has, and I don't want to talk about this too much because I think everyone's talking about the pandemic so much, but just briefly, how has this global pandemic affected your business directly, or has it? Has it made it better?
At least for like I know that for other esports organizations in Spain, it has been like really chaotic and like not good at all for them. But for us, it's been amazing. Like we like I'm sorry to like be happy about this, but like we've had like a ton of brands getting close to us, like wanting to activate with us, close
Yeah,
deals because like they couldn't, like be in stadiums or do activations with teams that they had planned, or maybe activations on live esports events. Like they had like some agreement closed to I don't know like with events like such as DreamHack and things like that. Like just giving a random name, of an esports event.
yeah.
And they came to us because we kept competing, right? Our competitions kept going. We actually managed to also win the our seventh national League of Legends title on spring. Like we had Chupa Chups join us the day before, so like we've closed really good deals this year. Also, we closed the Chupa Chups deal during the pandemic also, so we've had activations with different brands such as Quetara. It's like a biscuit brand, very famous here in Spain.
Hmm.
So we managed to keep doing live content. We managed to do like transition into not doing physical events but digital events, like the one I mentioned earlier
Yeah.
about like generating a lot of sponsored esports content on Twitch, and I believe that we were able to adapt kind of more or less, correctly to this new like normal state we live in right now.
Yeah.
But it's been tough. It's been difficult. Like for sure, not at all easy. But I think that with a lot of work and with the great team we have at Good Game Group, we managed to kind of like overcome the situation. We also managed to close a round of 3 millions for the business.
Hmm. So an
I don't
investment
know.
round.
Yeah, an investment round. Yeah, that's it. I couldn't find the word correctly. An investment round for the business of 3 million euros this year. So like everything is kind of going really well for us.
Yeah, in the right direction.
Mhm.
I think it's the right business to be in during the pandemic. Everything's moving online a lot more. So
For
yeah.
sure. Like if every business has gone down, I think like for Twitch and esports, everything went up. Stonks. Like we had like really really good numbers. Like the our finals were like the most watched finals ever. The watched minutes in all of the competitions we are in have gone up for sure. So like, everything has been crazy.
Yeah, definitely. There's another thing I wanted to discuss with you that I found really really interesting, which I think a lot of people don't realize how popular esports is. It's so popular that it is. There are some elements of it that are being taught at university, and this is actually something that you teach at a university. Can you tell me a little bit about this?
Yeah. Okay. So this is something that like for me is really special because I love teaching. I've been teaching little kids since I was in high school. For example, I used to help little kids get better with math and science because that's what
Hmm.
I did really well back then.
Yeah.
So this is like something I really enjoy. I love like speaking out, and making like presentations, etc. So when I had the opportunity to, when I was contacted by a university here in Spain, in Malaga, called EADE, and it's a private university, and they're doing like um, this course. It's like a credential of you do it for a year, and basically it's like a credential of saying that you're kind of like an expert, or you at least know like what are the intricacies of the esports ecosystem, right? And it's a course where basically like they contacted the like some of the most respected professionals within our Spanish ecosystem, the Spanish industry. So like for me, it was like an amazing opportunity to start doing like some teaching, right? And what I normally do, what these universities contact me normally for, and I don't only like do it for universities because, for example, last week the Andalusian government asked me to also participate in a course they were doing. So this is something like that it's getting more and more popular, and businesses and universities, and also like the mayors, even like the city mayors are getting like interested in these kind of things. So
Wow.
what I do for EADE University is basically like they contacted me to teach the intricacies and the importance of digital communications on in
Mhm.
esports. Like what some questions that we've gone through in this podcast, for example, what are like the best social media to communicate in? What should people be doing over there? Um, why is this social media like so important? And we go through all of this information, and normally what I do is like I go through certain examples, of like good practices and things like that, to 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 make them understand
Mhm.
how work is done correctly, or maybe like some bad examples, something they should never do, because these courses are orientated to like several different people, like several different profiles also,
Mhm.
so maybe someone to get more into like being a community manager, maybe, and they want me to go more into like they want me to go much more deeper into the
Yeah.
topic, right? Maybe others just want to be like sports managers, so they want to know like what a player should be doing so that they can educate their players when the time comes. So like basically I do like my classes are quite open, so I'm open to questions, and if someone wants to like debate something, we can do it like after the class, in some spare time. So yeah, those are kind of like the topics and the things I go over.
That's really cool. How many people are in a course like this?
For example, in the IADE course, we were 14
Mhm.
last time I did it. But when I did the course for the Andalusian government, what we had 58, I believe.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, that one was kind of bigger.
Wow. Yeah. That's really cool. It's also cool to see governments interested in this kind of
Yeah,
thing.
actually, one of our sponsors in Vodafone Giants is the actual city of Malaga, right?
Wow.
So the city sponsors us, right, with their like tourism brand called Malaga Ciudad Genial. We have it on the back of our t-shirt, and we are the only team sponsored with this brand, as well as the local football team
Hmm.
called Malaga Football Club.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's really cool. It's good to see that governments are doing this kind of thing, I think. So I would like to finish up with two questions, I think. And the first one would be, what's your advice for young people who would like to have a career in esport?
Okay, like in one line, just like get involved, right? You have to be doing something, like get expertise in one way or another, right? You need to like learn a lot about the industry on your own behalf, but also if you want, you can like collaborate. For example, if you want to be a community manager, you can join Discord communities, try to be like an old member of these communities, try to help moderators grow in those communities. Maybe you can reach being a moderator, you can reach being an admin, and then from there you can go to being the community manager of certain business.
Hmm.
You have to like do some work and collaborations with some amateur teams, like build some experience, because like it's not about working for free, but like doing some like how do you call this, like apprenticeships,
It can be an apprenticeship, yeah, an apprenticeship
yeah,
generally, or
it's
internship.
it's something like this, right? Working with people that know more than you and try to like
Learn.
learn from them, develop your character, also like read a lot, because reading helps. For example, when I started working in social media, I read like tons of books, involving social media, algorithms, how to interact and engage with the audience. Like I just gave it my all to be like the best prepared I could to
Hmm.
face these challenges. But also when you try to find a job in esports, most of the times you will be asked for examples of past work, experience in other teams. So that's why I tell like I tell them to get involved, do like collaborations with maybe like smaller teams, etc., and build your way up right into the bigger spheres of the ecosystem.
Cool. I think that's some solid advice. And to finish off, what advice would you give your younger self?
Wow, this is quite a hard question because I think that my trip within the esports industry has been like really fast and steady.
Hmm.
I'm quite young. I'm only 23 years old at the
Oh,
moment,
wow. Okay.
so I'm quite happy with the speed in which I'm going.
Hmm.
But for sure, like if I have to say something to my old self, is like, don't be so cocky, right? Because
Yeah.
um, I used to be very cocky. I always think I was the best. Like, and there's always room for improvement, right? So don't be so cocky. Try to reflect on your errors and accept that advice. Also,
Hmm.
like, don't just think that what you think is the best thing always. And yeah, that's basically it, right? To try to reflect on the things I do and how could I be better instead of rejoicing on the things that I already do good or correctly.
Okay. So don't be cocky and stay humble.
That's it. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much today for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and good luck with all the awesome things that you're doing. And I hope you never have to use your degree.
I'm hoping so too. I'm hoping so too. I'm enjoying my esports career a lot. So hopefully I can like stay doing this for the rest of my life. I believe I'll be happy.
Let's hope so. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks for having me, Kate.